Hello, Footballer Nation, and welcome to the greatest rising podcast in football, coming at you on a very special episode of Footballers Anonymous. My name is Carson, and I am a Cardsaholic.
My name is Alex. I'm a Billsaholic, ready to smash some Dolphins on Thursday.
And I'm Ian, and I'm an 0-2 Bearsaholic.
For more on why two of us are 2-0 and one of us is 0-2, make sure to stay tuned for the rest of the episode. But first, let's go ahead and roll that intro. Hello, Footballer Nation, and welcome to Footballers Anonymous, coming at you on our 1-year anniversary.
Oh, yeah. We've been around for a whole year now because we were a little weird last year and started in like week 2 of the season instead of week 1. But, it's chill. We're here. We made it this far. We couldn't have made it this far without y'all. So we appreciate each and every one of you that stays and listens to the pod, even if you've only listened one time or if you've listened to every episode.
Facts. And y'all better appreciate us because we wouldn't be here without ourselves. Just saying. Just saying.
He's got a point there. I mean,
point there.
One year ago, the three of us went through a phase I think every white male is required to go through where they say, man, we should start a podcast. The difference is we actually did. And now we're here.
And we actually did it with good equipment and an actual topic.
It's true. We did. So you could say, I mean, we're cooking. I remember last season, I talked about the importance of the third episode and how only about 5% of podcasts actually make it past the third episode. Well, we're on season 2, baby. We are on season 2. We went through a whole mini season with the after hours and then the midnight shift. Now we're here. It's been a pretty cool experience.
We hope you stick for the ride for the next year and more, of course. We're not going anywhere.
But we're going to start off today's episode talking about you guys. Because before we get into we asked you to ask us questions and we answered them, we just want to point out that tonight, actually, we just hit 100 followers on Instagram. That's right, perfect ladies timing. And gentlemen. We did it. Perfect timing. We thank you so much. Also, I genuinely can't remember if we brought it up on the pod or not, so I'm bringing it here. But we hit 150 on YouTube, and
there you go.
The goal was to hit 150 before September, and we did it. So huge. Thank you guys so much. And to all of you who are listening to us on podcasts, I don't have an actual way of identifying how many of you are concurrent listeners, but I see how many of you download every episode each week, and you guys are the best. Okay, we love you guys. We thank you for everything you do. So we're going to go ahead and open today's episode with a few of your guys' questions. We got some good ones this week, actually. Our first question is from Andy. And Andy asks, will Daniel Jones continue this pace towards MVP, or will it be Josh Allen again?
Well, there's only 2 options in this question.
Yeah, there's only 2 options.
It's a little weird.
Okay.
First off, let's take the question at face value. Will the MVP be Daniel Jones or Josh Allen?
All I'm going to say is this week, Daniel Jones was statistically the best quarterback wearing number 17.
This is true.
It is true.
Daniel Jones may not have had as insane of a performance as Allen in week 1, but he's got the consistency. Allen did not have to do much in week 2 because we ran the ball most of the time and destroyed the Jets.
And you put in the GOAT,
That's true. We did put in the GOAT for a couple of plays. Allen went out with an injury to his nose. We'll talk about that later. But to answer the question at face value, I don't know if Daniel Jones, I want to wait a couple more weeks before really seeing, but Daniel Jones does have potential through 2 weeks. With that being said, I'll biasly take Allen, but we love Daniel Jones' chances in a 2-man MVP race. Now, if we include everyone...
We will come back to this question at the end of the year, by the way. And we will specifically tell you who won the 2-man MVP race between Josh Allen and Daniel Jones.
I'll just take it at face value, just like Alex said. Between these two guys, I mean, right now you kind of got to give it to Daniel Jones. between these two guys. The situation that he came into, the reputation that he had going into it, the way that everyone was shocked week 1 and continued to be shocked week 2, despite a little bit of, questionable decisions there at the end, which, you've probably seen. If not, we'll get into that. So just based off of that, you would have to give it to Daniel Jones. And if not MVP, comeback player of the year is a guarantee for right now. But, it's week 2. We saw this exact thing last year. 2 weeks in, the New Orleans Saints looked like the best team in football. So even if 2 weeks in, Daniel Jones was like the best quarterback in football, we've seen how quickly that can fall apart and how quickly that can completely turn around on its head. So I don't think anyone can have an accurate read on Daniel Jones until at least week 6 or 7. No, no pun intended.
All right, I'll look at this at face value. I will say Josh Allen's game against the Ravens, and that's an MVP game, right? That is an MVP game.
Oh, yeah.
He literally carried that team to a win against a very good Baltimore Ravens defense. However, with Daniel Jones, I mean, similarly to like what Ian said, I mean, he took a team that the three of us thought would be the worst team in football. I think that was a pretty concurrent opinion we all had. If you watch the first half of our predictions, which will finish one day, it will be released at some point. But if you watch that, you will hear some of our thoughts. Honestly, though, so I would maybe, at least with just these 2 weeks, MVP would kind of go to Daniel Jones with what he's done for that program. Now, I mean, if we're talking the future, I don't think this Colts team is gonna be any good past week 5. So I'm gonna say Josh Allen is probably going to take it. Now, I do want to point out, Ian said that he would be a lock for comeback player of the year. I don't know how much of the media you've been paying attention to, but all of the glazing that's been happening for Josh Allen coming back from that bloody nose, dude, I think that's comeback player of the year material right there. Like, man,
True.
This guy, nothing can stop this guy. Not even a bloody nose.
Okay, then I might as well be the reigning comeback player of the year because you guys have seen the I go through and I'm still standing. So
Oh yeah.
Roger Goodell, you owe me a lot.
Ian gets insane bloody noses like monthly. It's just like on a cycle. It's ridiculous.
And they come in, it hits like a truck. So I get like 4 in 1 week. My record in 1 week. Do I even say that on the pod? We should just stop talking about this.
We can stop talking about this.
I don't know.
Next question.
Moving on to our next question, we have Carl Holmberg who asks, oh boy, I'm gonna let these two talk first. Is JJ McCarthy truly him?
And hey, taking it at face value, he's not him. He played good games. Well, he had one good game, in which in the fourth quarter of the Bears game, sure, you could say he's him for that.
I was going to say, I think he had one good quarter.
Yeah, that fourth quarter, yes, he was him. First 3 quarters, no. The entirety of the last game, no. He is nowhere near him. I don't know. Why'd you even add truly in there? He was never in.
That's the I'm just reading the question, man.
I know you are. I'm not talking about that. But yeah, no. JJ McCarthy is not him, and he's also injured.
True.
I do want to add on that note. In 7 quarters of play, J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings have scored 12 points. That one other quarter, obviously, they had 21 to make the comeback against the Bears, who are pretty lackluster to start the season. Sorry. But with that being said, I do want to kind of talk on the note of the fact that rookie quarterbacks get very heavily overanalyzed, and fans always talk about how they want to watch a rookie quarterback develop. They want to get a rookie quarterback. They want to take the time to develop him. They want him to get good, and they want to raise him. And then as soon as a rookie quarterback plays bad, the media absolutely torches every rookie that plays terrible. They never get time. So if you're taking at face value, technically speaking, no, he has not been him in 7 of 8 quarters. But we also have to consider the fact that he didn't play at all last year. He's coming off an ACL injury, and he's a rookie quarterback, basically. I mean, he didn't play last year, so we consider him a rookie here at Footballers Anonymous. Give it time. I don't even look at CJ Stroud, for example, on the other side of the spectrum. Amazing his rookie year, and since then he's been kind of on a downward swing. Not saying he can't get back up to that at some point, but he hasn't started this season particularly great, and last season not particularly great. JJ McCarthy's played 2 games. We don't know what happens with quarterbacks. It takes like years to really know where a quarterback is going to lie in the actual grand scheme of things. It takes time. They're still developing their skill sets. So yes, give it time. That's more of a thing to all of the media that rips like every young quarterback when they're
Perfect example. Caleb Williams last year.
Yes, I agree.
And still this year. But like I was comparing JJ McCarthy and Caleb Williams. If anyone here remembers, Caleb Williams had a horrible debut against the Tennessee Titans last year. Less than 100 passing yards, no touchdowns. It was very bad. And immediately, was taken, destroyed. JJ McCarthy had a very horrible first 3 quarters, but that fourth quarter was really good. JJ McCarthy definitely has a promising future ahead of him if he can just work out some of these things. And like Alex said, if people allow him to develop.
Yeah, so I'm going to agree with these two. Looking at it, face value, he's had 1 good quarter of football. Is he him right now? No, absolutely not. There's been a stat I've seen going around, like comparing Sam Darnold's stats against the Falcons last year to JJ McCarthy's stats against the Falcons this year. That's such a poor comparison. I mean, these are two completely different Falcons teams, right? Let's just get that out of the way. The Falcons have totally revamped their defense. We here at Footballers Anonymous are very big fans of that defense, by the way. Totally revamped their defense. The Vikings have done a lot. They're 2 different teams, first of all. Also, this is Sam Darnold for the Vikings playing in December football. This was a late season game. This is week 2 for JJ McCarthy, and he's basically a rookie. Like, I'm not sure what you expect from the kid, but the media seems to only be able to do 2 things, either praise or absolutely destroy. They don't know how to watch someone grow. Take Arch Manning, for example. The media absolutely hyped up Arch Manning. I didn't really believe. I was like, he's not going to be that good, like, at the beginning. He's never started before. What are we talking about? And then, sure enough, he looked like he had some growing pains in the Ohio State game. Nothing too severe, but he didn't look great. He didn't look like a Heisman winner week 1 against Ohio State. And so then the media started calling him washed. And he's been struggling for the past couple weeks. And the media is absolutely tearing on him. It's like, from me watching him play, he looks like a pretty average, maybe below the line college quarterback making his first starts. Like, give the kid some time. If his name wasn't Manning, you wouldn't even be paying attention to him right now. And I mean, the same is kind of going for JJ McCarthy. There's only 2 sides of the spectrum. You can either be absolutely glazed by the media or absolutely trashed by the media. Give him some time. He's learning to play. He has a great coach. His offensive line is horrible, by the way. Terrible. I mean, granted, again, it was against the Falcons pass rush, but there's going to be some growing pains. Also, he just had his first child like a few days before that game. Like, give the dude a break. Like, by the way, congratulations to the McCarthy family on their son Rome. But bro's going through a lot. Give him some time. But
you did also mention. Sorry.
No, you're good.
You did also mention Manning. If we want to talk about the quarterback that has the best statistical season all time and multiple Super Bowls, Peyton Manning's rookie year, the guy threw for 26 touchdowns and 28 interceptions, and he had a 56% completion rating and not even 4,000 yards. They did not win a lot of games that year. Peyton Manning obviously turned out to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. You can't take their first year, let alone their first 2 games at face value.
I agree. Having said that, looking at it face value, no, he's not him right now. But like, saying is JJ McCarthy truly him? Like, this is not a question we can really answer. We basically have, but I think he'll be just. We will also revisit this question in 5 years.
Set the timer.
Set the timer. Our 6-year anniversary, we will answer this question.
You know what? I will put the reminder in my phone right now just for the people. All right. So what's today's date? The 18th.
Yes, the 18th.
I should know this because it's our anniversary,
Exactly. It is officially now.
10 a.m. in 2030.
Wow.
2030. It's crazy.
That's wild.
Where did it go? Hang on. I lost it. I was scheduled. That's why I have to.
Also, I should have mentioned, this is so random. I should have mentioned this earlier, though. We've produced 47 episodes of Footballers Anonymous. That is absurd.
That's crazy.
That's crazy number.
47.
But anyway, include all like the special episodes and stuff.
That does include all the special episodes. It does not include live streams. It does include though separate parts. So like that one time we recorded predictions that was like 4.5 hours long, and I had to break it in half. That is 2 episodes, but there are, like, if you go onto Apple Podcasts or whatever, there are 47. This will be 48 published episodes of Footballers Anonymous.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
I have a lot of comments about that.
Really?
Well, before you do that, do we have any other questions before we continue?
No, those were our only 2.
All right, then comment ahead.
But if you want your questions answered on Footballers Anonymous, make sure to follow us on Instagram, where we post our questions poll every week. Or comment your questions. We check our comments very frequently. Alex is demonstrating right now. We also, ask. You could send us an email. Ian actually does a good job checking our email.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I get all the notifications, so
he gets all the notifications.
It's mostly just fourth wall, to be honest. Saying stuff.
Hey, y'all can email us.
Y'all can email us.
Email us
footballersanonymous283@gmail.com.
Truth.
Oh, we have a lot of questions. Our last episode got 114 views on YouTube and had 10 questions.
Wait, what?
10 questions, 10 comments.
10 comments. Sorry, 10 comments.
I have not actually looked at this. Oh, wow. See, okay, those comments unironically started as people who just know me and wanted to troll me by making fun of JJ McCarthy. But there are also a bunch of, like, people that I do not know. Footballer Nation is showing up, boys. Footballer Nation's showing up for season 1.
Our comment of the week is from Thomas Bishop, Co2GL. He says JJ McCarthy is washed.
See, but you have to read that whole conversation, though.
That's true. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt here. I'll be nice. We gotta get the whole conversation kind of rolling here. We got the thing that says, well, first off, the title of the video, y'all should know, is J.J. McCarthy that guy? He said J.J. McCarthy is washed. Then Carl Holmberg, 4205, threw 3 fire emojis in chat. Sarah Xiong said, LMAO, sure, dude. Footballers Anonymous, I don't know who that is, said, L take, no glazing here.
Who could have said that? Which one of you was it?
And still keep on losing lols said, gotta be good at some point to be washed. Lols.
He does have a point.
This dude puts lulls in every comment. Lulz. How old is this guy? Like, what are you doing, bro? We appreciate you for listening to our episode, though.
I'm surprised that's the one you chose, to be honest. There's some good comments. Okay.
There are some good comments.
The episode was titled, Is JJ McCarthy That Guy? And this comment by Eric Padilla 2454 says, he's that guy to throw a pick 6.
So now that I think about it, I actually understand the comment now. I just thought he was yapping gibberish. That's actually probably comment of the week. I'm not going to lie.
Also, we got our guest star Nick commented, said he was quite confused.
Oh, did he?
At the beginning. He did. He said I was so confused at the beginning, and Footballers Anonymous responded that trust will run it back. Nick will return.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie. None of the comments made sense to me because I didn't have context.
Yeah, you gotta.
It's okay though.
It's okay. We hold each other accountable and credible and ownershipable. Exactly.
Ownershipable. You're right.
Ownershipable.
Now,
we are
something
shippable, by the way. If you have your own Footballers Anonymous ships, let us know.
Ownershipable Footballers Anonymous.
Floating around.
Maybe we should sell ships on the merch store.
If you see any couples floating around. Speaking of which,
what?
Thomas, you'll find someone at some point.
Lock in, broski.
Lock in.
Bro,
just lock in.
TF in.
Listen, Thomas, you either gotta lock in on the women or you gotta lock in on your tank engine career. And we all know which one's going better. So you might want to pick that career, buddy.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we need to talk about something. Carson's college knowledge was a little broken this week, but we're gonna go through it anyways. First off, the only take I had last week that was correct, and I'm very proud of this take. Georgia Tech did upset number 12 Clemson on a game-winning field goal. They won 24-21. Georgia Tech is now officially ranked, and Clemson has officially fallen out of the top 25, which is honestly not surprising. Cade Klubnik has disappointed me. Number 5 Miami absolutely destroyed Southern Florida. I was kind of hoping that the storyline would pan out, so I made the storyline pick last week. It did not work. They won 49-12. Miami is in fact that team, unfortunately. Vanderbilt destroyed number 11 South Carolina And South Carolina lost Lenore Sellers in the process, which is horrible for them. I mean, Shane Beamer's having a rough time. Come to VT. More on that in a second. So Vanderbilt won 31-7. They are now ranked. South Carolina is now no longer ranked. We had a lot of teams fall out of the top 25 and a lot of new ones replace them. And then we had two very, very big things happen this week. Keep in mind, week 3 of the college football season. New Mexico upset UCLA. Not really an upset, but technically, even though UCLA sucks and is arguably one of the 2 worst Power 4 teams right now, which I will be talking about both. But New Mexico upset UCLA 35-10, and UCLA has officially fired head coach Deshaun Foster. Week 3. Crazy, right? Not really, because conference play is coming up and you want to be ready for that, but still a very bold move. UCLA is just kind of cooked. You know, UCLA actually has seen no success since they lost this man right here, Colin Schlee, who won them the LA Bowl. They have seen no success since he left, and I feel no pity because Virginia Tech is the same way. Virginia Tech got owned by ODU at home 45-26. Keeping in mind, at halftime the score was 31-0. Over two games, Virginia Tech had in the second half of Vandy and the first half of ODU a total 62 unanswered points put up on them. Yeah, Virginia Tech fired head coach Brent Pry. I would like to leave a brief little message for Brent Pry. Brent Pry, you're a great dude, hometown hero. You're great at recruiting. If you're listening, which you are, you should skip ahead like a minute because I'm about to say some not nice things about you. But I appreciate what you did there. Brent Pry, are you gone yet? I'll wait. All right.
Man,
Brent
stop
Pry.
crying on the guy.
Brent Pry. It is incredible how much of a failure you are. It took you Virginia Tech's greatest NFL draft class ever to carry you to a 6-6 season with a loss to Minnesota in the Mayo Bowl. And not only that, but as soon as you lost that NFL talent, you have some of the most promising recruits. You have one of the top running backs in the transfer portal somehow come to replace Tootin. You go 0-3 in your first 3 games. I give you credit. You tried against South Carolina. There was some promise. Vanderbilt shouldn't have happened. But ODU? That is absurd. That is just Sorry, I'm very glad you left. We had a party. I am overjoyed. There were, in fact, protests all over campus. And honestly, they were all valid. We do not miss you. We are very excited for Monty, and we're very excited to see who will eventually replace Monty as intermediate until we get our new head coach. But I guarantee they'll be better than you. So, good riddance, Brent Pry. I will not miss you. Thank you for being a hometown hero and being a good guy. I hope you don't end up in a McDonald's. I hope you at least end up at Chick-fil-A. That is
Carson.
It. Yes.
This may be the only time I ask to intrude on your Carson's College Knowledge segment.
Please.
So, those of you who don't know, I attend George Mason University. It's a school in Fairfax, if y'all don't know. We have we have 2 very good basketball teams. Well, for our conference. 2 very good basketball teams for our conference. Not in the biggest conference. But the women's team made March Madness last year, and the men's team was 1 win away from doing so. With that being said, we have a pretty big school. We have a good amount of money. But we don't have a football team. Me and a couple friends of mine did some digging into why this is the case. We pretty much found out it's not a money issue. Not a stadium space issue. We actually have a stadium that doesn't we have a practice stadium and we have plenty of room for an actual stadium. Not a student support issue. We get plenty of support at the basketball games and we have plenty of students. We have more students than James Madison does. 35,000, something along the lines of that. The reason we don't have a football team is because they cannot have a women's equivalent because there is no women's football league in the NCAA. Now, here's the kicker about this. To an extent, okay, but that's also not our fault. But also, we have a women's rowing team, and there's no men's equivalent. So it only goes one way. It only goes one way. And there's a competitive men's NCAA scenario for that. So that's honestly, there's less of an excuse in that scenario. There should be one of each for that. But at the same time, there's 2 things. one, not having a football team strictly due to that really upsets me. We would be great with a football team. But the second thing, if they're so concerned about it, try to make a women's football team. You can't have a women's football league if no one makes a women's football team. Be the first to do it if you care that much about it. I honestly think people would watch that. It'd be really interesting. But that's ridiculous. I don't like that. My opinion on it is that I get the philosophy behind it, but at the same time, if you're gonna make an exception for the rowing team and maybe other teams as well, I didn't look into every single sport. Why can't we make an exception for the football team? Because the fact there's not a woman, we can't do a women's team is not because of our school.
Also,
it's because of the NCAA.
Sorry to cut you off, Alex, but fun fact as well. If GMU had a football team, I would also be a GMU student. I had planned on going to GMU to be with Alex. And then I was told that they didn't have a football team, and I wiped them off my radar. So if they had a football team, me and Alex would be in the same room right now, most likely.
And in the case of women's football, there actually is a National Women's Football League. Obviously a lot smaller, but I did not know this. We did not know this as the collective, but we looked into it. They actually have a good amount of teams, and part of the problem, they honestly probably just don't have a lot of league support or a lot of pushing into their leagues. I mean, there's no college scene. There's, it's like if they made a college scene for that, maybe that could get pushed more. And GMU, if they want that equal level so bad, they should just try to make a women's football team. What's stopping them? Obviously, they wouldn't have proper competition unless other schools did it technically. But I feel like if one school did it, there'd be a couple more that would kind of pop out, and then eventually start getting more. It's got you got to start somewhere.
GMU in the Sun Belt would actually go kind of crazy. You put GMU in the Sun Belt East, you've got them against ODU, JMU, Coastal Carolina, App State. That would be a great place to start your FBS presence. You probably wouldn't start there, but that would be a great place. Virginia's a really fun state for college football. Actually, you've got the Sun Belt teams, you've got the Power Four, you've got Virginia Tech. It's a lot of fun. I think it would be awesome to see GMU join the Sun Belt. It's definitely a missed opportunity there.
We're one of the bigger schools in Virginia, and there are so many smaller teams with football teams comparatively to us. There's really no reason we shouldn't have one. I can't think of many bigger schools that don't have football teams. It's it's college football. It's a staple of most colleges. I don't know. Also, I'm trying to imagine GMU uniforms. I feel like those would go so hard.
I think they could go quite hard.
I would I mean, I'm not a design expert, but I would pitch ideas if they really needed them. But
dude, absolutely.
Gregory Washington, hit me up on that football team idea. We know you listen to the pod.
It's true. We know. For a fact. We're going to go ahead and jump into our actual NFL news now. Start off, the Cowboys have been quite busy. The Cowboys extended Tyler Smith to a 4-year, $96 million deal. They signed Jadeveon Clowney, and unfortunately, their center, Cooper Beebe, is expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a high ankle sprain.
I don't want to read this.
Yes, you do.
The Chicago Bears, right, have a lot of fans have been concerned with our kicker, Cairo Santos, and his weak leg in comparison to a lot of other kickers in the league. And to remedy this, fans have said that not only does he kind of have a weak leg, but he also is kind of lacking in the clutch department, I guess. So to remedy that, the Chicago Bears decided to sign Jake Moody to their practice squad. So there's a kicker battle heating up in Chicago. And let me tell you, it's going to be amazing. And you don't want to miss it. I personally really like Santos. He has his moments, of course, but every kicker has their moments. And he's infinitely better than Jake Moody. So there you go. And, obviously the 49ers had to release Jake Moody for this to happen. And they went out of their way. And they took someone who's just as good, if not worse than Jake Moody, Eddie Pinheiro. To the Panthers fans listening, you guys know. To the Bears fans listening, you guys know. Just kicker chaos. And it's very bad kickers involved.
It's true.
They should have picked up Matt Prater.
Hey, they should have. I love you, Matt Brader. I'm so glad you're having success.
Speaking of people that we kind of love over here at Footballers Anonymous, the Bengals are not expecting, they're rumored to be trading for Jameis Winston because he's sitting third string on the Giants right now, and he could be a lot higher on a different depth chart, particularly for a team that, in the big news, lost their starting quarterback to turf toe. If you all haven't heard by now, which I'd be surprised, but Joe Burrow is out for 3 months due to turf toe, which sounds weird because I know, me too. Like everyone, when they think of turf toe, they think it's some minor toe injury, but it's like
It's bad.
it's bad.
The turf toe, it's like Alex says, it sounds silly, but what it actually is, it's a sprain or a tear of the ligaments and tissues that are on the bottom of your big toe joint. And it's often caused by hyperextension, which, players do a lot of in the league, a lot of stuff. So it's really like, in a way, is that his entire foot is kind of like destroyed. Like, his toes like torn, and that affects your entire foot. It really does. It's bad. It's a really bad thing to happen, and they've given it such a sad name. Or not sad name, such a joyous name, I guess.
What was that thing where it was like that's the equivalent of calling an ACL tear?
An ACL sprain, like a heel teal, like a heel peel. Or something. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a heel peel. That's so crazy.
Like,
That's crazy, though.
It's the equivalent of getting shot in the head and just saying, "Oh, he got a headache."
That's the equivalent of calling Justin Jefferson's 500 career receptions little backyard catches. He did hit 500 receptions. I didn't make that up.
He did, and he's also the youngest player to do it, tied with Larry Fitzgerald. And there's been a lot of discourse because obviously one of them is younger based off their birth month and day, but just base value, number, age, they're tied.
Their numerical age is the exact same down to the day.
So they are tied with the youngest player.
Yeah. Which, what are the odds? But whatever.
I mean, yeah, absolutely crazy work.
Honestly, to think that if Justin Jefferson and the Vikings-Falcons game, if that was Thursday night football, he would have had the record.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, yes, because he would have been younger.
Well, I didn't know that he had a birthday over the weekend.
No, Ian.
What?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's down, like, their exact, like, when they hit the reception date, it's not just the year. It's down to the exact day. They were the same exact age down to the day. So I'm saying if Justin Jefferson had a Thursday night football game against the Falcons and the Sunday night football game, he would have been younger when he hit the reception record because he would have been 3 days younger than Fitzgerald was when he hit it.
Yes, it was to the day. It was so many, like, so they were both so many years and so many days old when they hit that 500 receptions.
So that's why their discourse about like the time frame they did it, because I think Larry Fitzgerald hit that number like a November or something, but that's because he was drafted when he was younger and his birthday came
26 years and 90 days. I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like it's to the day. That's what. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of discourse because it's like, well, Larry Fitzgerald hit it in November because of the draft time and whatnot, and the whole extra game thing and whatnot that people love to bring up in these debates.
Justin Jefferson missed 10 games?
Yeah.
2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always gonna defend my boy Larry, but like, what? What is this? What is this? Like,
they're both incredible. I mean,
yeah, they're both.
We don't gotta compare them. They're both incredible. They tied for the
Exactly.
record. I mean, that's cool.
But, it's a good thing Justin Jefferson did it when he did because J.J. McCarthy is out for week 3.
Yes.
And so is Aaron Jones. He's been placed on IR for a hamstring injury.
And another injury, Justin Fields. Hey, he had an amazing week 1. Comes out week 2, looks horrible, gives me 4 fantasy points, and also dies, apparently, because he is apparently severely concussed and will not be touching the field this week. Instead, the man whose only accomplishment in life is securing that bag and fist bumping Carson Baird, Tyrod Taylor is set to make a start.
True. I have fist bumped him with this hand, so maybe he'll go off. I don't know. And if he does, I will say it's because he fist bumped. Tyrod's gonna go crazy. Trust. He performed statistically better than Justin Fields within minutes of Justin Fields going into the 10.
Okay.
Now, is that because it was garbage time?
Calm down, buddy.
Who knows? Speaking of which, there was another scenario actually just like that happened during the game with a player we actually care about, but we'll talk about that more later. For now, another injury, or should I say another entire position group injury. during the Cardinals-Panthers game, which we won, by the way. Suck it, Alex.
I don't recall.
You loser. You loser. 100%. Nah, we won. I told you we won. Your conspiracy was wrong.
The prophecy was ruined by the referees.
Bro, the refs were low-key carrying.
The refs were obscene. The refs in the last drive were obscene to both teams. It was terrible.
That drive should have been over. So that was just horrible, a mess. Thankfully, Calais Campbell is the GOAT. But during that last drive, our entire secondary went down. Budda Baker and Garrett Williams had a horrible collision. Max Melton went down. Will Johnson went down. It was terrifying. Thankfully, Max Melton's performing again. Budda Baker's just fine. Will Johnson did not practice, but he is expected to play against the Niners. And our only real permanent loss is Garrett Williams, who was the best ranked zone coverage corner last year. The only one above Pat Surtain, by the way. He is on IR now. So... Yay. Yay. This is where I will insert a meme that says, "Did you beat the Panthers?" Yes. What did it cost? Everything.
Another injury. To bring up another position group hit. The Chicago Bears. Cornerback Jalen Johnson made his season debut against the Lions after missing the Vikings game, just to sustain a groin injury, resulting in him being expected to miss the rest of the regular season.
Bro.
Another injury, the worst of them all. Josh Allen got his nose hit.
Okay.
And blood came out.
If you were watching that, if you were watching that game, by the way, they talked about it like it was the worst injury that happened.
Yeah. No, I know. No, I will say, at first for a second, because he had his neck down like this when he was running with it, I thought he had a spine, like a neck or spine injury. I was watching him he not moving his neck at all. I was like, it was fine. It was just his nose. The other thing, this is the real highlight. Mitch Trubisky came in and he flexed his GOAT status. He didn't even do the worst he could do to the Jets. He threw one single time, and it was a 33-yard dot on 3rd and long.
He immediately outperformed Josh Allen.
The GOAT.
He immediately outperformed Josh Allen.
I mean,
and we're not even lying about that. Like, the stats were in his favor after that one snap. That's why he's the GOAT.
Speaking of goated things, we're going to talk about our merch store. A little ad read.
Motivation, Will Levis.
Not that one, the other one.
Whopper.
No. The Football Anonymous shop ad read.
Oh, of course.
Motivations with Will Levis.
Football fans, can you believe it? It's officially the 1-year anniversary of Footballers Anonymous. A whole year of takes, trash talk, and way too much time spent talking about backup quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, and we're celebrating the only way that makes sense with the anniversary sale at footballersanonymous.shop.fourthwall.com. That's right, use code GOATED at checkout. That's a reference to get 11% off your order. That's GOATED. 6 letters, GOATED, for 11% off. Why 11%? Because it's the number Mitchell David Trubisky wears, the true GOAT.
Honestly, it feels surreal. My Sundays don't feel right without this show anymore. Name another podcast that gives you peak picks, great laughs, and a merch store this clean. There are none.
I was going to say, I can't think of any.
Facts. And now's the time to jump on it. Hoodies, mugs, hats, crew necks, everything is on sale for this anniversary week.
Ian Watkins can confirm. The hoodies are ridiculously comfortable, and they're perfect for game day. I don't leave home without mine. I even wear it when the Bears lose. Let's be honest here, guys. That's every week.
But hey, at least you look good while crying in your car.
Look, I prefer quality gear, and this store delivers. The fabric, the prints, everything feels premium at a low cost. The meticulous weaving is finer than the softest silks. These are the kinds of things you want in your closet.
That's the pitch right there, let me tell you.
Because life is better when you've got FBA gear. This is fine quality stuff, like a hoodie that keeps you warm, or a mug that makes your coffee taste elite. And sure, you'll whine about your fantasy team, but at least you'll look amazing doing so.
Speaking of whining, we got to give a shout out to Dylan, our 2024 FBA Fan of the Year. He stays watching paint dry, and he says it's more exciting than our podcast. But he still tunes in every week. I respect it. Maybe he does both at the same time. You never know.
That is dedication. Our community is proof that football and culture go hand in hand because football art and this merch is part of that culture. A hoodie, an instant statement piece. Next time someone cheeses you into a horrible fantasy draft, put on an FBA hat and gain infinite amounts of ball knowledge.
1 year of FBA, and we're just getting started.
Before we wrap this up, let's make one thing crystal clear. These ads are not written by AI. Stop spreading that rumor!
Do you really, like, come on, do you really think AI could love Trubisky this hard?
Do you think AI could roast Pete Prisco with this much passion?
Or drag Kyle Pitts this constantly? Absolutely not.
So don't miss out. Go to footballanonymous.shop.fourthwall.com. Use code GOATED and celebrate 1 year of Football Anonymous with us.
Because this community, this podcast, and this sale are all about the fans. Here is to year one and many, many more to come.
Happy anniversary,
Footballers Anonymous. Alex, it worked.
That's supposed to be happy music.
Alex, it worked.
Did
It
it work?
worked. I mean, it
Oh, it
worked.
did.
It worked.
And so in all honesty, if you want to go ahead, like I said last week, if you want to sit there and take each individual word
will.
for one sentence, my name is Ian Watkins. And I prefer the finer things in life, like fine wine and art and cheeses.
Yeah. I was literally like, I think I can sneak all of these in except finer and cheeses.
Yeah, it wasn't until the meticulous weaving is finer and these kinds of things you want to classify. That's when I was like, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting to the climax of our podcast episode, like we do every week. The Footballers Anonymous Power Rankings. For those of you who don't know how this works, every week we spend a few minutes of our precious time that we truly just enjoy and love doing, and put together a list of power rankings. Each one of us, individually. We rank every team from worst to best, and then we use this thing called math to put the teams together. I know, I'm sorry.
Oh my God. It's like this thing where you take the numbers and you combine them with other numbers. Sometimes you reduce numbers off of that. It's all about the numbers, baby. It's all about the numbers. You got to understand the math to know the math, and you got to do the math to really get the math, and it's all about the math. For those who don't understand math, it's numbers.
True.
It's not just about money, football, our nation. It's about the math. Nothing but the math. I love the math.
Yes, exactly. So we use this thing called math that was thankfully just wonderfully explained by my co-hosts to make a collective list where all 32 teams are again ranked from worst to best, taking the averages of the number values that we give them and putting them into one. Unfortunately, because of the way math works, occasionally, sometimes two teams get the same number value, in which case we will either off the pod or on the pod, if they're worthy, discuss the tie and vote to decide which one takes the top spot. This week we had 3 ties, but none of them were in our top 12 or our bottom 3, so we won't bother debating them on the pod. Those have already been chosen. But we get to start off our power rankings by talking about some baddies. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Every week, the bottom 3 teams of the power rankings are officially known as the baddies. And starting off as our first baddie, the least bad of the 3 baddies, but still bad enough to be a baddie. At number 30 in our power rankings, we have the Miami Dolphins. You guys look better this week. I'm not better, but Tua still does not seem there.
So here's what I'll say about that. Yes, Tua does not fully seem there. He played better this week. The offense moved the ball a lot more efficiently. But a lot of the big problem is still going to be just that offensive line. And I think teams, especially the last couple of years, have been sacrificing just the O-line and thinking, yeah, the weapons and the quarterback will make it work. It won't. You need a good offensive line, or at least a solid offensive line. Didn't work with the Bears. It's not working with the Texans. It's not working with the Dolphins. The Bengals, it really shouldn't be working, but Joe Burrow just makes it happen. But that is an anomaly. That's an anomaly. That's an exception to the rule.
I mean, he got turf toe.
Yeah, it's been a lot worse lately. Obviously, the offensive line was putrid when they went to the Super Bowl, but it still sucks, and it's costing the Bengals and Joe Burrow. It's not gonna help. It's not gonna do anything but cost you. Also, the Dolphins' defense is, especially their secondary. Their secondary might be worse than their offensive line. Like those two aspects of their team are bottom 3 in the league.
The Eagles won the Super Bowl for a reason. And that was their offensive line. Their offensive line was the best part of their whole team, except for when they all false start on a tush push, and that's fine. But I digress. An offensive line is needed. Mike McDaniel just seems high during every press conference. He's dropping some crazy lines, some just immaculate lines.
And I know he said. Okay, first off, he said, to win the game, you have to win the game and not lose the game.
I lost the game.
Oh, whoa.
And I know I'm the kind of person, I get told this all the time. I say too much and don't get enough meaning out of it. I say too many extra words. Mike McDaniel is 10 times worse at speaking than I am. It is pathetic. In the whole weird nerd vibe and the weird he can't he's just an awkward dude kind of thing. It's not working for their team anymore. He was never that good of a coach. He came out of Shanahan's scheme.
I will say
it worked for a couple of years. But as soon as their offensive scheme got figured out, they've been on the slow decline, and it's just getting worse. And he doesn't know how to adjust to it.
I will say, and I think Alex and I we both watched a pretty in-depth video about the Dolphins a few days ago. Credit to Mike McDaniel. He did revolutionize wide receiver routes and concepts in the NFL, especially with the use of Tyreek Hill. But once he came onto the scene and did that, teams started to adjust. And now he just does not know what to do. And it's clear that he's not cut out for it anymore. He is my favorite first head coach fired this year, easily.
Oh, absolutely. There is a chance that if we blow out the Dolphins enough, he gets fired after that game. I think there's a plausible chance. I don't think it's likely. It's very early in the season, but there is a slightly plausible chance that happens. If they get embarrassed and give up by the third quarter, that could happen. With that being said, this is where we have the Dolphins. It's not good all around. Something I also wanted to shout out is the fact that Tua mentioned Josh Allen because they play this week. And he was just saying that he can't do half the things Josh does. I mean, he's honest, but also they definitely don't have a lot of confidence around the board across the team right now. It's not a good look.
I mean, that's the polar opposite of saying that you're a top 5 quarterback and Josh Allen is not. But it's also not that good or not much of a confidence builder. Fortunately, it is enough of a confidence builder to move them out of the ultra baddie spot, which is where we had them. But there are 2 teams worse, and the first of them, coming in at 31, is the Cleveland Browns, who honestly played a decent first half of football. Decent against the Ravens. And I think that's the only thing keeping them out of the ultra baddie spot. But they pretty much how this game went is they were like, hey, Ravens, look, we can stop Derrick Henry. And the Ravens were like, okay, we'll just use everyone else. And the Browns were like, oh no, I don't know how to stop anyone else.
Yeah, defensively is where they really got destroyed. And it was expected, playing the Ravens, were a very strong offense.
A very angry Ravens team.
Even then, just offensively, it wasn't good there either. Their pass game was very weak. Flacco only had 199 yards off a 50% completion percentage, a touchdown and an interception. He was sacked twice. He had a QBR of 30. So it just wasn't, there really wasn't anything positive coming out of this game. Some people, I've seen a couple different debates sparking up about the quarterback position and what they should do there moving forward. But me personally, I give them a little bit of pass because it is the Ravens. Your defense is going to look foolish from playing the Ravens in most cases, especially when you're as, low-tier team as the Browns are.
Thankfully, though, they were saved from being the ultra baddie by this one team, which is right back where they belong, the New Orleans Saints.
Now hold right there, Carson. They may be here this week, but they traded for wide receiver Jalen Polk from the Patriots, so we could see them move up a space or 2 next week.
Listen,
here's much needed upgrade on their team.
Yes, this is true, actually. They do need receivers bad. So this could actually, unironically, seriously help. My take with the Saints, I actually am the only one who didn't put them at ultra baddie. And I think the only reason is because they look bad, but they do not look as bad as I thought they would. Like, they're losing games and they don't look great doing so. But I mean, there are glimpses. Spencer Rattler is playing better than people thought he would. Not good by any means, but better. Alvin Kamara is still him. He is still kind of cooking sometimes. And yes, they took 2 L's to 2 fairly middle of the line teams in terms of the Arizona Cardinals week 1 with diarrhea Kyler Murray and then the Mac Jones led 49ers. So not the worst competition, but not the best. They look fine against them. Honestly, this reminds me of the 2023 Arizona Cardinals, who most of their games didn't look abysmal, but just kept losing 1-score games. I think this is what it's gonna be for them until they get a franchise quarterback. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that is not Spencer Rattler and that is not Tyler Shough. So they need to just go through the full rebuild. And I see them being in the baddies for most of this season.
Yeah, the Saints haven't even necessarily been playing the worst football in the world, but their competition, not good. And they are we put them at the ultra bad to start the season. They obviously were temporarily removed because of how the Dolphins played in week 1, but we expect them to be here most of the season. Now, you never know, but I'd be very surprised if the Saints did anything meaningful this year. They do not have a lot of talent on either side of the ball. And they're in cap hell. So.
Yeah. But with that, we don't got to talk about bad teams anymore. We're going to go ahead and go through our top 12. A lot of them, there's not a whole ton that needs to be said. We know why they're up here, but there are a couple that I think are interesting to talk about. The first ones are our number 12 team and our number 11 team. I'm going to mention them both at once because I think it's very fitting how these teams land. At number 12, just barely staying in the top 12, we have the Denver Broncos. And at number... Jeez. Number 11, we have the Daniel Jones-led Indianapolis Colts. That's right, they made our top 12, guys. We did think they would be the worst team in the league, and here they are.
Listen, even with them, I don't want to touch on the Broncos first. I would like to touch on the Broncos first, since we have them at 12. Still a solid team, still a great team. Just the end of that game didn't go their way, and I think we're all surprised by even how it ended, but also I think we're surprised by how the game was in general, because it was still a close game up to the final moment, with or without that controversial call and with or without that field goal. Now, on the other side, the team that won, the Colts, they put up 60 points in 2 weeks. Their offense looked great. It's confusing. There's not really too much that can really be said about it, and it's really just a lot of cautious optimism, because like I mentioned earlier, we saw this last year with the Saints. They came out of nowhere, put up 90 points in 2 weeks, and they looked amazing. So I do think the Colts are deserving of this spot currently, just based off of these 2 weeks of football. Not top 10 worthy, but I think this is a perfect spot for them to be, just based off how the first 2 weeks of the season have gone.
The Colts are actually the first team in the Super Bowl era to not punt a single time in either of their first 2 games in the season, which is insane. I mean, this team is defying expectations, and we talked about them earlier. They could just be this year's Saints, who looked like the best team in football for 2 weeks and then abysmal. We could.
They could also be last year's Vikings.
Oh, yeah, they could. This is a very interesting team that I think we're all actually more excited to watch than we think we were going to be. With our next team in the power rankings, though, another team that we have been very interested and curious to see play, and they did not disappoint this week, we have the Atlanta Falcons, who put on a defensive masterclass.
Hey, and a special teams masterclass.
And a special teams masterclass. This was just a well put together football team, especially in the second half.
I would say more so in the first half, because Bijan Robinson had himself an amazing game, and it kind of stalled out towards the end. I could be wrong, but that's what I saw.
I guess I just said not the first half because there were no touchdowns.
Yeah, there was no good offensive performance. Well, I wouldn't say no good offensive performance. Like I said, Bijan was going crazy.
He was.
I don't remember if this is how the game ended, but there was one point in which Bijan Robinson had more yards than the entire Vikings offense. So Bijan Robinson looked amazing. Unfortunately, Drake London did not. Cost me some fantasy points, But other than that, I'm very high on the Falcons. And I think defensively and special teams wise, they looked amazing. And the offense was.
Coming in at 9, This team had a pretty rough week. We have the Washington Commanders, who got destroyed on Thursday Night Football. Only Thursday Night Football could have made this game go the way it did.
I'm gonna be honest. Thinking about it now, Commanders might be a little bit high.
I agree, actually.
Can we get an on the air re-ruling, please, real quick?
This is wait. We're doing a veto of a.
Wait. Okay, this has never happened
before.
This has never happened.
Yeah, we have to think about this. Are we allowing this?
I would just like to bring up, not only did they get destroyed by the Packers, they did not look good at all. But in week 1, they didn't look that impressive against the Giants.
They did not. And
All the way at the end, but yeah.
And now I will say the Giants did have kind of a, much better week this week, which kind of, makes their first week performance look a little bit better. But the Cowboys are a much weaker team than the Commanders, and they put up a lot more points. And so I personally think I would put all 3 of the teams we just talked about above the Commanders right now.
that means the Colts are a top 10 team.
I'm okay with this. I'm the only one that put them top 10.
Actually, you both put them top 10. You did both put I was the only one who did not put the Colts top 10.
I would have to put the Colts because I think the Broncos are the better team than the Commanders. But if we had, the Colts are over the Broncos, then by law of association.
All right. You know what?
They might have more.
I support this. I think it's valid. The Washington Commanders, they struggled against the Packers. It was not a good week. Jaden Daniels did not look good, and he got hurt. He will not be playing this week. So there's a lot of concern there for Washington. They don't look like they did last year so far. They're starting to stall out a little bit, and it's a little bit scary. I would argue that they're still a top 12 team, but I support the first ever veto to move them down to 12.
There you have it, folks. Wow. Footballers Anonymous history on the 1-year anniversary.
It's true.
It's veto time.
Also, I would like to say, for the record, in my personal ones, I actually did have Washington at 11 below Indianapolis.
You did. I think I had much higher.
I think Denver's a better team, and then put Washington above Denver.
Yeah, that was a couple hours ago. I'm thinking, just now thinking about it, I was like,
yeah, no, that's understandable. With the reason y'all provided, I can be inclined to agree, because I think of a lot of why they were so high was partially due to me. I think I had them at 8.
I also had them at 8, yeah.
But I think, thinking about it now, I kind of knocked them last week, and I just didn't knock them much this week.
The Commanders also, they not only lost Jaden Daniels, they also lost Austin Eckler. He tore his Achilles.
We didn't talk about that.
He tore his Achilles, so he's out for the season. So that's not good for them.
I think an issue that we kind of as a group fall into a lot when it comes to our power rankings is we give a lot of teams name bonuses, right?
Yep.
A certain that's I'm gonna call myself, I think that's kind of what happened with me and the Commanders. Even though I put them at 11, they ended up at 9 in our group rankings. I think they got a little bit of a name bonus because they are the Commanders. We saw what they did last year, and so they lose to the Packers, and it's just kind of, the Packers are amazing right now. So we don't have to do 2 hard Commanders, but no. Yeah, they needed to drop. So I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Yeah, especially because this is a week-to-week thing. This isn't us saying that the Commanders are going to be 12 for the rest of the season, but based off of the way they've performed, I would argue they could even fall out of the top 12. I'm not gonna go any further with the veto, but I would argue that they very well could. I mean, we've got the Bengals and the Chiefs behind them. I think there's a strong argument.
I was just about to bring up the Chiefs. There are a lot of people on the internet putting the Chiefs in the top 10 still. People got to understand that power rankings are not just based off. Power rankings are supposed to be based off what we've seen, not what we think. That's the entire point of power rankings. That's what I believe, at least. I think we have a general idea of that belief. We have disagreements on where we place the teams, but generally speaking, we don't try to do a lot of predictions with it. You kind of naturally, some will sneak in. I think the Colts, if we were just going off base how they play, would be higher than 10. But we also have to be a little more conservative with them because we know what they have on the team, and we know how they won last week. But yes, they've been playing good. We're going to put them above the Chiefs, even though we don't think the Chiefs are going to be better. Are going to be worse than the Colts. Yeah.
There's
a lot of teams. There's a lot of power rankings that are putting the Chiefs in the top 10 still, and I think that's outlandish. They have not been playing like a top 10 team, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
I agree. I mean, I think 1 year of doing this, we've had a lot of conversations, mostly off the air, about how we do our power rankings and whether they're our own personal predictions or purely based off of performance this season, or if we take last season into account, and all kinds of things. And again, we don't it's not perfectly just the way they played this week, because unironically, Alex and I made a lot of fun of Ian for putting the Jets really high week 1, because that's obviously kind of stupid. But I'm not saying you're stupid, but technically, if you are looking at just how they've played this season, in week 1, the Jets did deserve to go a lot higher than 20. So
yes,
that was definitely Alex and me being conservative. But for the most part,
it's also a little bit of a Justin Fields.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We knew that was part of it.
See, and this is why we use math.
His stat lines himself were amazing.
And that's why we use math to keep each other credible and ownershipable and come up with a more peak power list ranking. You know how many podcasts break down how power rankings work? Not many.
Hey, Football Nation's getting amazing behind the scenes right now.
Yeah.
You kind of just assume that you know how they work. And a lot of power rankings go by different formulas and different ways of going about it. It's not consistent from power rankings to power rankings.
I guess moving on from that historic moment, at number 8, we have a team who is 2 different teams, week 1 and week 2. We have the Detroit Lions, who kind of are back. Now, it was just against the Bears, an injured Bears defense.
Not really. It wasn't really that injured, actually. It was pretty healthy.
But the Lions are kind of back, and the disrespect to Ben Johnson was crazy.
The continued disrespect to Ben Johnson a little bit crazy, too. Just in general. It's one thing, someone returns to their old team, you're expected to get a little bit of booze, a little bit of, disrespect, but they kind of went a little bit over. And the social media has been tearing Ben a new one in some ways.
Have you seen what he looks like in press conferences?
Dude, he's bad.
He's just done with it. You can tell how much it's weighed on him.
There was one moment where a reporter asked him, "Do you think Dan Campbell ran up the score?" And Ben Johnson handled it pretty well. He's just like, what else is he supposed to do? Which I think is a pretty solid answer. I mean, what else are you supposed to do? But you play football, go out there and play football. But yeah, they've been on it, and it's crazy. But hey, not to distract from the Lions. I'll get back to the Lions in a second. Mike Ditka, in his first season as a Bears head coach, started 0-2. But now back on the Lions. This was just an amazing game from them. In every aspect, offense was steaming. They a little bit of a questionable, before at the end of the first half, there was some confusion that kind of went the Lions' way when it really shouldn't have, but it didn't really matter. I mean, they kind of just did. Yeah, they kind of destroyed the Bears, and the defense was just so good. The offense, everything. Honestly, they're kind of low as well, but it's also because of how they performed week 1 against the Packers.
Yeah.
Comparing week 1 to week 2, they played a very strong Packers, and they played a very, very bad Bears. So it's kind of just more cautious optimism with the Lions right now, but they did play an amazing game.
I will say, with all the Ben Johnson, I hate to go back, but with all the Ben Johnson disrespect going on, I will appreciate Jared Goff, who did stick up for Ben Johnson in his press conference. And he did talk about how unnecessary all of the booing and whatnot was, and that he didn't quite like that, which respect to Jared Goff for that. Even if I'm not the biggest fan of you as a football player, you're a good dude. Well, with that, moving on to number 7. This is a team that certain individuals here are very excited about, but as a collective, we all quite like watching this team. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who once again had a Baker Mayfield masterclass game-winning drive.
MVP. Dude, that 4th and 10 run kind of sums it up. Late in the game, 4th and 10
needed. The game was over. I did not know how he got out of that. The pocket was completely collapsed. There were 4 Texans around him, and he got out of it.
And he took
it was
off,
incredible.
And he got amazing. And that was right. Wasn't that the play after a pretty bad Emeka Egbuka drop?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
It was the 3rd and 10, wasn't it? Yeah, 3rd and 10.
That was a dot. That was a dot down the field.
Emeka Egbuka, probably on I think it was a crosser or something. Great separation, right in the basket, and it just goes through his hands. He's a
And I
rookie,
don't want to
understandable.
dog on the guy because he's been playing incredible besides that one drop.
Yeah, he's been playing amazing. Do not want to trash him at all for that one drop. But then
Yeah.
Baker took it himself. He's Thanos. Fine, I'll do it myself. 4th and 10 run, game on 1. He took it. Also, earlier in the game, there was a moment where he had another run in which he kind of fell. He looked injured. It looked bad. It looked pretty serious. He was in pain. CJ Gardner-Johnson comes up, says something. Baker snaps up. Pain gone. Snaps up, gets in CJ's face, and then wins the game. So Baker Mayfield, you are a dog, man. MVP. MVP. The Bucks as a whole.
I mean, listen, if I'm slowly getting more and more sold on this Baker Mayfield MVP narrative, like, that was pretty good. That was pretty cool. That was good football right there. Wow. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about Tampa. It's just such an exciting team, man.
His stats may not reflect the MVP campaign just yet, but he's played 2 very good defenses to start the year, especially Houston's.
And he's led 2 game-winning drives already to start the season.
Yeah.
He's won. I mean, even in this game, you want to say the stats aren't that great. He was 25 for 38, 215 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he also had 33 yards on the ground. Like, he had 3 rushes for 33 yards. One of those being that crucial 4th and 10 run. And also, let's give a shout out to Bucky Irving real quick.
Yes.
The amazing running back who had an amazing run at that end there. Just overall, Bucky Irving. Another dog on that team. This team is just full of dogs that know how to get stuff done. And on top of his rushing achievements, Bucky Irving also had 50 yards in receiving. He had 130. He had 120 all-purpose yards. This team is just firing all cylinders. And defense needs to lock in a little bit. Baker again, back-to-back game-winning drive. So I think both the offense and the defense can take a step up. And once they do, I don't see a lot of teams stopping this Bucks team. I'm very high on the Bucks.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being more and more sold every day. I love Egbuka. He is easily my offensive rookie of the year candidate. Calling that preseason, calling that now. I will be calling that at the end of the year. I love watching him play. The drop was unfortunate, but Baker, oh my gosh, it was so cool. Going into I'll list them both just because I think it's funny, because last year we had to Alex really had to try with his power rankings because he wanted these 2 teams to be next to each other. This time they just are. It's the LA Rams and the LA Chargers. The Rams at 6, the Chargers at 5.
Let's go, Charger Nation.
I forgot I did that last year, and it never worked.
He tried.
And now they're just here.
I'm gonna leave the Rams floor open to these 2. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know too much about the Rams right now. I work on Sundays. Rams are not a team I'm currently familiar with, so I'm gonna let these 2 take it for them.
The Rams, yeah. So the Rams are probably my sleeper team for a 1-2 seed in the NFC. They are actually coming out and doing pretty well at the beginning of the season, which is not something they normally do, by the way. They are normally playing from behind at the end of the season, and they make some magic happen. But they're balling out. The big highlight, and I think at least Alex can agree with me on this, the highlight of this Rams offense so far is Davante Adams. Davante Adams is still a dog. He has been going crazy. Him and Matt Stafford, it's really cool to see. In this Texans game, he wasn't as productive, but he had a few really nice catches. He played Tennessee this week. He went off, had over 100 yards. It was super cool to watch. Matt Stafford, his clone, he is a clone, but he's balling out, and this is just a great offense that knows how to move the ball.
I agree. Matt Stafford had a really nice pass the other day. It was like a little angle pass, slided right through not only the defensive lineman that was coming in his way, but also barely past the corner right into the receiver's hands. It was a shorter pass, but it was such a nice angle. It's just Matt Stafford's ability to just get the ball anywhere is still impresses to this day. It's crazy.
Now on to team number 5, team that I'm excited to talk about. Everyone here knows that going into the season, going into each week, outside of the Bears, the Chargers are the team that I am the highest on. I'm a huge Chargers fan. This week, they delivered again. I will say, I think they could have done a little bit better against the Raiders. Could have done a little bit better. The offense wasn't firing as much as they could have, but the defense was playing amazing. Derwin James. The announcers were glazing Derwin James. I'm gonna glaze Derwin James because he's an amazing player. He doesn't get talked about enough defensively. He's one of the best defensive players in the league. He is all over the field. He makes plays everywhere. He doesn't just make defensive plays like by getting to the ball. He makes defensive plays by setting screens for his linemen. There was multiple plays in which Derwin James, his sole purpose was to run at a lineman just to make just to create extra work and get Khalil Mack through. And then unfortunately Khalil Mack went down, but he still did it for the other defensive lineman. Derwin James is just a freak on the defensive side of the ball. And honestly, for me, that's one of the reasons why I want the Chargers to be so high. The Raiders' offense just couldn't do anything. Geno Smith looked horrible on passes that were 10 plus yards down the field. He was 0 for 10, 3 interceptions. It was bad. It was bad. Also, can we take a sidebar real quick? Geno Smith, with the game on the line, final drive, throwing it away on 4th and 5, despicable.
What?
Absolutely despicable. He did so much to keep the play alive. 4th and 5. They need this drive. They need something. He throws it out. He doesn't even give his receivers a chance.
It was terrible. He didn't even
No. That's a moment where you just huck it. I think their tight end was like 4 yards down the line of scrimmage with the defender 2 yards off of him. Chuck it to him. Give him a chance to break a tackle and get the first down. No, Geno threw it out of bounds. So yeah, the Chargers defense was just on it tonight, or not tonight, the other night. And the offense has room to grow. Same thing with the Bucs, honestly. Both these teams, I see being able to take a step up with their offenses. And when they do, it's going to be hard for other teams to beat them. And I'm very high on the Chargers to continue to take those steps up.
Yeah, the Chargers, with this whole division in the AFC West, I wasn't high enough on any one of the teams to feel confident they would win in it. Like, I was almost somewhat doubting all of them. But I was like, well, not all of my doubts can be right. In 2 weeks, the Chargers have just eliminated all of that doubt. They look incredible. It was the offense, and then it was the defense. This is a complete team, and they're just so exciting to watch, man. At number 4 in our power rankings, it just keeps getting better. We talked about them a lot. I don't think there's much to be said, so I'll probably move on pretty quick. But it is the Baltimore Ravens. They played a very complete game against the Browns.
That's just where it is. It was against the Browns.
Yes, correct. There is concern, I think, about Derrick Henry just a little bit.
I'm sure he'll be fine. I mean, we saw what he did against Buffalo. I wouldn't throw the talent after one subpar game against the Cleveland Browns, which is something I feel like has happened every year since he's been on the Ravens. I think he's had a lackluster game against the Browns, and then people have raised hell about it. Am I tripping or am I?
Well, he was only on the Ravens last year, but yes, that did happen.
Well, so last year wasn't there like a bad game against the Ravens earlier?
I do remember there being. I'll look at the stats.
I know there was like what I think that I could be wrong, but this happens. We were talking about it with JJ McCarthy earlier. It happens way too often where a player has one subpar game, and then there's concerns about that player. Let the guys play ball. As we stated earlier as well, it was clear that the entire Browns game plan was stopping Derrick Henry. So if they want to pour all of their resources into that, they can feel free to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Derrick Henry, I believe, was actually not active for he was fine for one of the Browns games last year, and unless he literally just didn't get anything, because there's no rushing stats for him, then yeah. But it's a whole media thing. It's a whole media thing. He's gonna be fine. Yeah. Coming in at number 3, playing an unfortunately kind of boring game, but winning, the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, the Eagles, man, they look good. 12% of their snaps were tush pushes this week, by the way.
Checks out.
Super boring, but
they held on to the title. They beat the Chiefs in the rematch. Chris Jones was yapping, talking about Jalen Hurts not even having 100 yards. Hurts just said, "We won though."
The disrespect was
the Eagles
crazy.
do get some aura.
Jalen Hurts is aura, bro. Some of Jalen Hurts' lines go absolutely crazy. That they're up
so much aura to him.
They're up there with like the Geno Smith one-liners. And the difference between Geno Smith and Jalen Hurts is Jalen Hurts can actually back up the crazy one-liners.
I saw some comments the other night from after Geno Smith's game talking about it might be time for Geno to write back.
Yeah.
Hey, I will say this week was some of the things we talked about before the season started. The Geno Smith versus Sam Darnold upgrade downgrade argument. I'm just saying, one looked way better than the other.
You might You might be right. I'm still not confident in Sam Darnold at all, but
It's totally.
I mean,
We'll just
Geno
get to
Smith
that.
is not good, and I think that's
No.
much fairer to say here.
Jalen Hurts was, and that is why they're number 3 on our power rankings.
He didn't have to do much. And Chris Jones was pissed about it. And he was like, yeah, but we won the game.
Pretty much.
Like, cry about it.
Now in our top 2, we got some interesting stuff going on. We got a leadership change in the power rankings, ladies and gentlemen. Coming
I've
in
noticed.
at number 2, we have the Buffalo Bills.
Honestly, the leadership change is fair. I'm not upset about it. There's honestly not much to say about the Bills besides Josh Allen's nose and the fact that, well, we talked about Mitch getting playing time. And Punter Cam Johnston, we signed him. He's back. But in terms of the actual game, I mean, we blew up the Jets.
Yeah.
Not much to say. The defense looked better. Defense looked actually incredible. The defense, actually, there's something I can pull up about the defense.
The defense did look a lot better, but offensively, James Cook carried this game. If they did not have James Cook or a solid rushing attack, they still would have won. Let's be honest, they still would have won for sure. But I think their score, I think they would have had like probably a third of the score.
The defense allowed 154 yards total in the game, which is the lowest the Bills have allowed on the road since 1990. A little specific of a stat, but that's still a very impressive stat.
It's still historical significance. The Jets look awful. Justin Fields was not playing good, and the Bills took advantage of that. The Bills really took advantage. Like their defensive just pounded the Jets in. So it was a solid performance. It was against the Jets, who looked horrible. Like I've just stated, I can't stop complaining about that to myself. So that is unfortunately why they had to fall.
And I mean, at number 1, like this team, you know it's bad when we are putting this team number 1. But we talked about them earlier. They look really good. And as Tom Grassi would say, at number 1 in the power rankings, we have the Green Bay mother-loving Packers, which is so gross.
Disgusting.
The worst part is that the 2 people who put the Packers up here are Ian and myself.
Disgusting.
This timeline is not real, bro.
And that is going to do it for our power rankings.
Okay, hold on. There's not a whole ton we need to talk about. But, I mean, we had a debate, kind of. I don't even remember, because we've had so many debates off the air. But last week, or I think it was the week before, Ian and I and Alex, we were trying to decide whether Micah Parsons really would just completely change Green Bay's defense. I mean, he has. Like, Micah Parsons is there, and he means business. And that whole defense looks better because of it.
Yeah, I was wrong. Micah Parsons did have a huge impact, unfortunately. I was today. I was out and about, and it's still shocking to me that he's a Packer. Like it still is just, it doesn't feel right. Him being a Packer does not sit right with me, but it's the case. And yeah, he's going crazy. And it sucks.
That does it for our power rankings, though. A very interesting list this week. I'm going to go through from bottom to top and read you all of them in case you're curious. At 32, we have the New Orleans Saints. At 31, we have the Cleveland Browns. At 30, we have the Miami Dolphins. At 29, just barely escaping the baddies, we have the Chicago Bears. At 28, we have the Tennessee Titans. 27, the New York Jets. 26, the New York Giants. We had both sets of teams with the same city next to each other this week. That's crazy work. At 25, we had the Carolina Panthers. 24, the Las Vegas Raiders. At 23, we had the Houston Texans, who were tied but voted underneath the 22 Pittsburgh Steelers. At 21, we had the New England Patriots. At 20, we had the Minnesota Vikings, who were tied with but voted underneath the number 19 Seattle Seahawks. At 18, we had the Jacksonville Jaguars. At 17, the Dallas Cowboys. 16, the San Francisco 49ers. At 15, the 2-0 Arizona Cardinals. At 14, we had the Kansas City Chiefs, who were tied with the number 13 Cincinnati Bengals. At number 12, we had the first ever Footballers Anonymous Power Rankings veto, lowering the Washington Commanders to 12. At number 11, we had the Denver Broncos. At number 10, the Indianapolis Colts, led by Indiana Jones himself. At number 9, we had the Atlanta Falcons. At number 8, the Detroit Lions. At number 7, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At 6, the Los Angeles Rams. At 5, the Los Angeles Chargers. At 4, the Baltimore Ravens. At 3, the Philadelphia Eagles. At 2, the Buffalo Bills. And someone else was at 1. But friendly reminder, these are our power rankings, which automatically makes them better than Pete Prisco's. Now, before we turn it over to Footballer Select like we normally would, Alex has something he would like to share.
I do, in fact, have something I'd like to know. Now, you may have noticed that the Kansas City Chiefs are currently sitting at 14 on our power rankings because they have not won a game this season. Ladies and gentlemen, it is conspiracy time. Now, my conspiracy this week has to do with Carson and the Kansas City Chiefs. Carson has picked the Kansas City Chiefs the past, not 2 games, but the past 3 games they have played. He picked the Chiefs in the Super Bowl against what we thought would happen. He picked the Chiefs in the Chargers game. He picked the Chiefs in the second Eagles game. And our conspiracy, aka my conspiracy, is that this has some unique relation that has just started to where if Carson picks the Chiefs, they lose. It could be in reverse. We have not tested this theory yet. But Carson's picking the Chiefs this week. So if the Giants win, we'll know why. Thank you for your time.
I make this sacrifice for you guys, by the way. I will pick
Alex,
the
Carson
Chiefs to go 17 and 0 if I have to.
Carson actively sacrifices his pick'ems for the sake of having the Chiefs lose. It's for the good of the league.
Speaking of which, let's talk about our Pick'ems League. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't joined yet, the Pick'ems League is, of course, still open, obviously. It is on the ESPN app. And you guys are once again showing out. So let me pull that up. Man, okay. So we have in the Fantasy League, or in the Pick'ems League, we have still our top contender. This is Cam Bam coming in at 26-6 on the year so far. That is pretty good. At number 2, we do have our very own Billsaholic coming in at 24-8.
That's not Billsaholic.
Oh, you're so right. That's not the very own Billsaholic. Our very own Billsaholic is still mid at number 4, and he's 23-9. Still not bad though, considering Ian and I are still bringing up the rear. Ian at 19-13, me at 20-12. Granted, I've sacrificed a few picks for the Chiefs, but again, totally willing to do that. Footballers Anonymous as a collective, of course, sits around the middle at 22-10. But yeah, Footballer Nation, you guys are doing pretty good. Shout out Cam Bam and Buffalo Bill Picks 1. You guys are leading the pack right now. RT Remco, you are tied with Buffalo Bill Picks for second place. You'll have to see it. We got Signed FBA Table, who is tied with Alex. Signed FBA Table is our honorary Footballer Anonymous, Charlie. Very good to see him. We have ESPN Fan 22477833489. In 6th, tied with my boy Connor, not tied, right above my boy Connor at 22 wins and 21 wins, and then Ian and me in the back. But if you guys want to join us, if you want to join late, if you already have an ESPN picks going, make sure you look for Footballers Anonymous Pick'ems on the ESPN app or the ESPN Fantasy website and join us. It's a lot of fun. And you might get a shout out on the I actually just pretty sure I shouted out every single member of the league right there. Yeah, that is everyone. Even if you have an ESPN fan 24778333489 name, I will still shout you guys out because you deserve it. But let's talk about some games of the week. Last week in games of the week, which we had 4 of last week because Alex was so insistent on the Cardinals game being a big deal. Alex, Ian, and Nick went 3-1. And I went 2-2. In case you guys forgot, last week the narrative was Carson versus the world, and I lost. I lost. But it's a new week, and we got some new games in the week. So, one of you guys want to take us through?
I got you. Starting off, we're going to have the Rams going into Philly to take on the Eagles Sunday, September 21st at 1 p.m. EST. I'm going to just jump off the bat here and say that I'm taking the Eagles. I just like the Eagles. Go EGLES, Eagles.
You forgot a letter there. But I'm gonna take the Rams. Honestly, I'm gonna take the Rams. This is a bit of an upset, I'm sure. But I believe that they can get it done. I think Devontae Adams is a dog. They're healthy. Puka's going to be going crazy, and their run defense has looked pretty decent. And I like them to win this in an upset.
Our next game of the week is
Wait.
not our next game because Alex didn't give us a pick for the first game.
so needy. What if I wanted to talk about the next game before I gave my pick?
You don't get to.
Think about that.
That's not how that
Do
works.
you think about what I want in this scenario?
No
You
one
don't care
cares
in
what
this
you
scenario.
want. Footballer Nation wants your opinion. Not a lot of people want that. Take advantage of
But
it.
they do care. They care about my thoughts and opinions.
Nope. Just answer the question, bro. Rams or Eagles?
I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah.
Our
Our
next bet.
second game
Whoa.
is ridiculous. Oh my God. This is the throw-in game, but this is going to be a funny game. It's between the Bengals and the Vikings with backup quarterbacks.
A week ago, looking at this game, this looked like an easy game of the week, bro. Like, you were going to have J.J. McCarthy going against an easy defense and Joe Burrow and the Bengals having some fun. It's a good game on paper.
Probably would have been a Bengals win, but
Yes.
I digress.
But now,
it's a still quarterback matchup. Carson Wentz and Jake Browning.
oh, wow.
Me personally, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Jake Browning is miles better of a backup than Carson Wentz is at this stage in his career.
Bro, I thought you
Jake
were ready
Browning-
to say Jake Browning is way better than Joe Burrow, and I was like,
No. Jake Browning has competency, especially in that offensive system where they have the weapons to do it. The Vikings have injured weapons, a bad offensive line. Granted, the Bengals do too, but I think the Vikings is actually worse because the Bengals have tried to improve it a little bit. I get that the defense is worse for the Bengals, but Trey Hendrickson is going to go off against that putrid offensive line of the Vikings. And they also don't have an injured running back over in Cincinnati. And Jake Browning's just better than Carson Wentz, so that's why I'm taking the Bengals.
I'm going to counter that and say you shouldn't write Carson Wentz off too early. Just saw some prime Carson Wentz highlights the other day. Hey, if he has even an ounce of that, he could get something crazy going here. And also, just raw defensively, Vikings way better defense than the Bengals by a mile. I think the Vikings defense is way more likely to take advantage of a backup quarterback than the Bengals defense is. And Aaron Jones may be out, but Jordan Mason is a dog. He proved that last year, and I think he'll continue to be so this year. So I'm going to be taking the Vikings.
I agree. And this isn't even me glazing anymore because J.J. McCarthy's not even playing, so no one can call it glaze. I thought about this for a while. Ian kind of convinced me. The defense for the Vikings looks great, and honestly, Jordan Mason has looked really good for the Vikings already, and now he is the primary running back for them, and on that defensive line, I mean, other than Trey Hendrickson, no one is stopping him. So I think that hopefully Carson Wentz doesn't have to do very much. I think the Vikings take this at home. Our last game of the week is a very good game. Monday Night Football at the bank. It is the Lions and the Ravens. Monday Night Football, September 22nd at 8:15 Eastern. I'm going to start off. Everyone knows this about me. I like the Ravens. I like the Ravens quite a bit. Probably my second favorite team other than the Cardinals. And I'm also very cautious, it's a nice way of putting it, of the Lions this year. They did come back to form against the Bears, but they did not look so good week 1 against a top 5 team. They're coming to another top 5. I gotta take Baltimore, and I don't even think this is close. I think that Baltimore defense is gonna destroy them.
I don't think the defense is going to be necessarily the reason why they destroy them, but I think the Ravens are going to outpace the Lions because I think the Ravens tend to have the Lions number as well.
I was about to bring that up as well. Recent history, last time these two teams faced, it was a bloodbath in the Ravens' favor. And the time before that, Justin Tucker set the record for the longest field goal in NFL history. I praised the Lions' offense against the Bears. That's against the Bears, though. I think if the Ravens do any better than they did, I think if the Ravens do 5% better defensively than they did against the Bills, it's a wrap. Because I'm also going to be going with the Ravens. I just think they're just a stronger team, both offensively and defensively, in my opinion.
Very briefly, now that we've finished our NFL games of the week, of course, the expanded Carson's College Knowledge for this season now gives you 3 college games of the week every week. We got some pretty solid ranked matchups coming at you this week. For reference, last week, Alex, Ian, and our special guest Nick all went 2-1. I went 1-2. But I called the Georgia Tech upset, and I'm really proud of that. So I'm going to ride that high into this week. Starting off, we have Saturday, September 20th at noon kickoff, we got number 17 Texas Tech at number 16 Utah. This is a really hard pick for me. I don't know enough about either of these teams to make a great pick. I'm not going to lie. But I grew up a BYU fan, so I hate Utah, and I'm going to take Texas Tech.
I'm also going to be taking Texas Tech, but simply just because they've been putting up lots of points, way more than Utah has.
I mean, this is true.
Give me Texas Tech. Texas Technology.
Oh, yeah, that's why you're doing the robot. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Alex is doing the robot right now. Next
To any of our robot viewers, I apologize if you saw that as offensive. It does not reflect the greater body of football bonus. Moving on.
Moving on.
Going from the podcast that said clanker multiple times. Like, what are you doing?
Whoa.
Alex.
Dude.
Carson, you're not innocent. You were very on it last week. You have both been very bad. Don't worry. To all of our robot viewers, I am bettering these people. We are getting better.
Dang clankers.
There it is again. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable.
Next game is Auburn at 22 versus Oklahoma at 11. Saturday, September 20th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
This is an easy Oklahoma pick. Like, this is quarterback university. They have been going off to start the season. Auburn is looking good. I'm not going to lie. Auburn was a bit of a sleeper that I did not expect. But I think, this is in Oklahoma. I got to take it.
I do feel inclined to take Auburn. Something in my gut is telling me that it's the team that will win. But I'm going to be using my final lock on Oklahoma.
That's okay. You can take your lock in Oklahoma. I'm going Auburn all the way.
This next game is honestly probably the one that I'm having the most difficulty with. Don't
worry, Carson. I'll help you out after you announce the teams, of course.
We have number 9, Illinois, at number 19, Indiana on Saturday, September 20th at 7 p.m. kickoff. Nighttime in Indiana.
Go Fighting Illini. That's all I'm going to say. Don't sleep on Illinois. Hey, Illinois has been cooking. They have been cooking. Not only this season, dating back to last season, too.
Last time I picked against Indiana, I was correct, which I will take as some of the only reasoning I really have here. But honestly, I have watched Illinois play a little bit, and I'm kind of liking what they're doing, so I'm gonna take Illinois. Fighting Illini.
Here's the thing. Illinois currently sits at a record of 3-0 on the season. The Bears currently sit at a record of 0-2. Now, here's the thing. You would think with that logic I would be taking Illinois, but I'm not doing that because I'm picking the Bears against the Cowboys this week, which means I'm taking Indiana over Illinois for the counteracting.
If there's one team that's going to break that, it's going to be the Bears. Well, actually, no, because it was true in the first week, but because the Baylor Bears won.
True.
And the Bears lost, but I don't think
it can apply both ways.
The team that broke that was the Cardinals because that was his reasoning last week.
That's what I'm saying. It's only in apply with the Bears.
Here's the
it's like the reverse of Baylor. It's in Illinois.
Here's the differential, though. First week it was the Bears and the Bears. We tried to make that connection with Arizona and Arizona. Now you're trying to make that connection to Illinois and Chicago. So it's just a
Well, I know, but I have to test the logic because I don't know if that's a that's an Arizona Cardinals issue or that's an actual Arizona first part issue.
We'll find out, I guess. We'll find out.
You have to test the logic before writing it off.
We'll find out. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, that does bring our anniversary week 2 episode to a close. We would like to thank each and every one of you for joining us this week. This episode, I have a feeling, is going to be much longer because on recording time right now, we are approaching 2 hours. So you may have a longer watch. And if you're still here, thank you so much for joining us, whether it's just for this episode, whether you've been here from the start, or our first episode was also 2 hours. So we would really just thank you for showing up. Thank you for getting us to 100 followers on Instagram. If you're not there with us already, you totally should join us. We want to hit 150 by the end of the year. Should be totally reasonable. But maybe we'll put some incentives out there. I don't know. That's something we usually do a lot of the time. We haven't had one for a hot second, but stay tuned for that. If you aren't subscribed to us on YouTube, even if you don't watch us on YouTube, it's a big help. If you do, with showing the algorithm that you like us. Our last episode did very well, and we're super grateful for that and your interaction. You gave us great questions. It was just a very good week for our relationship with you guys, and we really appreciate it. The podcast is a lot more fun when we know you guys. We're giving you guys what you want, and we're talking about what you want. It's very energetic here today because it was a good episode. You guys gave us a lot to work with. It was so much fun. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, where, of course, we only post Minion memes. Don't forget to follow us on TikTok. I believe we're doing pretty well there. I don't know what the follower count is.
90.
So we surely we can hit 100 there. We are so close.
If we hit 100 followers on TikTok,
Alex will shave his head.
no, we're not doing that.
All right, footballer.
No.
Wait. What's happening?
We're doing something reasonable.
You know
Maybe
what?
if we hit,
I got it. No, never mind.
Alex will cut off his toe thumb. Alex will get thumb transplant surgery and replace his toe thumbs with real thumb.
Yes. Oh, get that off my screen. I'm gonna have to censor
It's
that.
either you do that, it's do that or shave your head. Up to you.
No. For when we hit 100 followers, we'll do a special. You know what? When we hit 100 followers on TikTok, we will release our second Field of Dreams album.
Whoa, crazy lore drop. Especially since you have to do none of the work for that. That's all me.
No, I will do covers this time.
Oh, that's true. I was the only one who ever did any covers last time, which, by the way, I ate on. No, I didn't.
You did. We'll divvy up the covers, and we'll even do some that are like we won't even release the AI versions. We'll just do our covers, and we'll have some where we each have parts in our songs.
What AI? Is that the nickname you gave our producer?
Yeah.
Allen Iverson, guys, come on.
The Footballers Anonymous. So basically, the Footballers Anonymous band did the last one, not AI at all.
Yeah, just want to double check.
No, guys,
I didn't know that. You guys
our band is conducted by Allen Iverson.
No, it is not. That is misinformation.
Misinformation.
Did you attend any of the band sessions? You were the only one that wasn't there.
I attended the same amount as Allen Iverson did.
So all of them?
Yeah, I didn't know you were there. You should not.
Yeah. I was actually wearing an Allen Iverson costume. That's why you guys think it was him. It actually wasn't him.
Classic Ian.
God.
This guy.
Classic me.
But we'll release the new album when you guys get us to 100 followers on TikTok. The last one was a big hit. We'll make sure to make this one even better, and there will be more covers, more of us singing, and more of us looking stupid. And hopefully you guys like it. That's literally what we're here to do. But with that, Footballer Nation, thank you so much for a year of incredible content. Footballer Nation, let's ride.